Located about an hour south of Moab, Utah, lies Indian Creek. Indian Creek is home to some of the United States' most iconic crack climbs. Basically, what Hawaii is to surfers, Indian Creek is to crack climbers. As far as the eye can see, there are just these beautiful vertical cracks in the sandstone that just make climbers' mouths water with excitement. Okay, we're about to head down into the canyons, try another climb. As a filmmaker, it gets me pretty stoked seeing these beautiful desert vistas all around me, because I know that no matter where I point my camera, beauty will be there. But as we know, a great story isn't just about beautiful visuals, so we had to assemble a good team to go conquer some of these vertical cracks.
So we're at an area called Maverick Buttress in Long Canyon. This is our first time climbing here.
Leading the charge was YouTube filmmaker and rock climber Noah Kane. Noah is a childhood friend of mine. We met going to school together in Costa Rica and later became filmmaking buddies in college and now professional collaborators working on some of the biggest projects of our career together. I like to say that when I took the traditional documentary filmmaking route, Noah took the social media route, but every once in a while we get to do the little bit of collaborating where I get to film on one of his projects and he gets to film on one of mine. Next up, we had Chris Stanford. Chris brought the party. With an endless supply of Afro beats playlists and pink flamingo shorts, Chris began and ended every climbing session with a smile.
Oh, work it, Chris, work it. Oh, we're having a good time. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Look at him.
I initially met Chris in Boulder, and he's kind of become a little filmmaking climbing buddy of mine and actually had a little cameo in one of my documentaries that's been touring film festivals this year called Unseen Peaks, about a blind ice climber trying to overcome some of her trauma by finding freedom in the outdoors. Next up, we had Aiden. Aiden and Noah have been climbing buddies for a while, but it's been a couple years since I've been climbing with Aiden, where we last tried to conquer Castleton Tower, which ended miserably, but it did end up getting some of the coolest photos and videos at that point in my career. Finally, Vivian. Vivian and I met a few years ago on a deep water solo adventure in Puerto Rico with Noah and a few other friends. This trip to Indian Creek was her first attempt at crack climbing, and despite some audible disdain for the pain involved into jamming her fingers and toes and feet and arms and hands and every part of her body into these cracks,
God, I wanna die. It just kind of feels painful.
she crushed just as much as the rest of us who have been crack climbing for years. Now that we have the crew, our objective was simple: have fun and do things we'd never done before.
Yeah, about to try this route called Miss Kitty Likes It That Way. I think it's the right move to go without gloves for the tight section, but could be wrong. I might just be messing up my skin here.
Nice, Noah.
Sorry, everybody, my foot's in it. This is the best we can do.
Oh, it's great.
You got it, dude.
That's fun. Oh, yeah. Fuck. That was so sketchy. Oh, so sketchy.
We all had small goals we wanted to accomplish as a part of the process. For me, I wanted to walk away with beautiful photos and videos that I felt captured the essence of this iconic zone in the desert. As an expedition rock climbing filmmaker, I think it's important to kind of have these trips where I can hone my skills, rework my rope systems, and try new things and experiment on what works best. About 10 minutes into this trip, I feel like I accomplished that goal, but over the course of the week, I was able to constantly rework and experiment on what I could do better. I'm also not much of a crack climber, so being suspended in my harness, watching my friends struggle all day was kind of the best way to spend the week. Noah's main goal was Anunnaki.
I've been trying this route for years now. Like when I first started crack climbing, this is one of the first routes that I ever top roped, you know, with a bunch of the older guys who were teaching me crack climbing. And it was like so hard on top rope back then. So it's super cool to come back. And maybe this is gonna be the time that I get to finish it off, you know? That'll be pretty cool.
Anunnaki is this wild, overhanging, lightning-shaped crack. It's been a constant test piece for Noah on his previous trips to Indian Creek. On his first trip, he made it about halfway up, but wasn't strong enough to complete it. On his last visit a year ago, his finger strength gave out on the last move, prohibiting him from finishing. After 50 feet of climbing, it came down to just inches. But this year, we were all feeling hopeful. Noah's been training for this, even going so far as building a home gym in his barn in Vermont. His determination showed as he tied in. He was laughing, but I could tell he was getting in the zone. His hands were coated with just the right amount of chalk to prevent the sweat of his hands from being the reason he couldn't complete it this year. Then he set off. The first ham jam looked solid. His toes enter the crack while his knee, initially turned away from his body to allow his toes to fit, cranks inward and locks in the foot. A left hand reaches tall and finds another section of crack to lock him in. The right foot follows suit. Toes in, knee rotates, and quads propel Noah farther up the overhanging lightning bolt. His body resembles a swimmer's movement more than it does a rock climber's. His extended shoulders, flat hands, and fluid movements clearly demonstrate the feeling most climbers chase. For the first half of the climb, I didn't feel like I was filming climbing. I felt like I was watching an artist put his own beautiful touch on this canvas. About halfway up, he finds a rest before the crux section at the top. Then the art gave way to struggle. There's one move especially that made Noah nervous, the ring locks. This highly technical move is what killed Noah's chances in the past. Noah first places his thumb in this dicey, thin, overhanging section just a few feet from the anchors, which marks the finish line. Once his thumb is jammed in, he carefully wraps his index and middle finger over his thumb for added support.
Nice.
The crack that makes up Anunnaki starts the width of a fist and later becomes so thin that the width of Noah's thumb is all he is able to use to drive him up the wall. On his final ring lock before he reaches the anchors to clip his rope, he lets out a subdued scream. The weight of his body on his thumb in the crack made his thumb slide against the rock and begin to bleed. This has been a 3-year journey for Noah, and he wasn't gonna let a little blood get in the way of his goal. So he pushed off his right foot, unweighting his hand, and slid his thumb out of the crack. From that move, he clipped his rope into the anchors above the crack. He was done.
You can take that.
Nice, dude.
That clip is always exciting, thrilling. Alrighty, why not give me a little bit of slack? Cool, you can take that up. Alrighty. Oh, how's it going, Rue?
This is it.
We're
This
just
is the
here
reality.
together, man.
Noah just crushing it.
After Noah successfully climbed Anunnaki, the rest of the group followed with varying degrees of success.
Falling.
Some completed it with some added rests on the rope,
Take.
while others couldn't quite figure out the ring lock technique and get all the way to the top. However, these weren't failures. As you remember, our goals were to have fun and do things we'd never done before.
One thing you should know about me is I love water and I will do anything to get in a body of water. So this puddle that we drive through, good enough for me. Oh, it's chilly.
It's easy to get caught up in pushing the limits and trying to do more and more. But our goal in this trip wasn't to prove ourselves as elite climbers. This trip was about trying new things. I experimented with new ways to rig and document a rock climb, specifically Anunnaki, where we did new rope techniques that I'd never tried before. This was my first trip to Indian Creek, and it was definitely not void of adventure. The roads were rough, but the sunsets were beautiful. The crack climbing was tough, but the crew was so good. When it was all over, I asked Chris about some of his thoughts on the trip, and I think he summed it up pretty well.
Also, I would say it's great to climb with great climbers, but the most important thing for me is climbing with great people.
Get after it.
Cool.
Thank you so much for watching. I have new videos coming every Wednesday. I love you. Have the best day ever.
Rue, is this the secret to your insane athletic performance?
Here's the secret to my insane athletic performance. Sugar and good views. When you combine the two, the way the amino acids and the protein, carbohydrates, and fats all
Hit in with the
interact,
macro, micro nutrients?
Yeah, the macro, micronutrients between views and sugar, that combo is clutch. That's what you need.